Hello, everyone. Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and we have a request to do a comparison, a very special request. I'll tell you who requested in just a minute. Kai Greene, 2012 versus Big Ramy, 2020. Now, this is, in my opinion, both of these guys at their best, and there was a discussion. I was watching a very special podcast. And on the podcast, they were discussing who was the best of all time, and then second, and the third, and fourth, and then it gets a little hazy. Was Kai Greene better than Big Ramrod? That is the question. Now, who requested this?
Mark's Max Muscle, if you're watching, we need you to do a video on this if you haven't done one already.
Fuanobiad on Bro Chat. They were talking about me. So I'm not famous, but famous people know of me. So that's pretty cool. Go through these shots. Hey, I'm sure you guys would do the same if you requested a comparison from one of you fellers. Front double bicep pose, and also they did look at some comparisons, and I think it was Brett got on to whoever sized them. I don't think it was me, but I would have done the same sizing. Kai Greene, he is a little bit shorter than Ramrod, but he bends at the knees, and people get on me, the size police, like you wouldn't believe. But I think they would size about like this. Ramrod, he holds that torso up, upright, erect, and his wheels are also erect. And Kai Greene, he folds himself up a little bit, looks very pleasing to the eye. Look at the bicep peaks. Look at the bicep peaks on both of these dudes. Unbelievable, considering that today's day and age, maybe the biceps are not the best in pro bodybuilding that they've ever been, which is no knock on today's competitors. I mean, they got the best hamstrings they've had in a long while. Go through these poses. I'll give you my opinion on who I think won. Hey, just because somebody's winning more shots than the other guy, I can still give the victory to the other one. Both of these guys bloom like a flower. She's my flower, and I'm the butterfly. Anyway, look at the legs on Kai Greene. Some of the best quad development. Now, Ramrod, his quads actually got a little bit smaller here, I think, in 2020 than they've been. I think they were larger, more in charge earlier on in his career. Upper body, it is difficult to stand beside Kai Greene unless you're Big Ramy. Now, Big Ramy, he's just a bigger version of this impressive blooming flower. I'm a bumblebee. She's my flower. You guys know what that's from? Anyway. Turn to the side, for goodness sakes. Here's an old-fashioned decider. Mooney McMahon. And Brett will probably get on me. He probably won't watch this. He's a busy man. And, somebody will get on to me about the sizing. I just made Ramrod 4 feet taller than Kai Greene. And now you make him shorter? What are you doing, Marks Max? You have ruined it again another day. Well, Kai, he holds his leg straight. You have to admit, his leg wouldn't be any smaller than this. If anything, I could have made Kai taller. Could have made him taller. Now, Ramrod, he sits down. Look at him next to Brandon Curry and even Hattie Shupin, for goodness sakes. He's not even taller than those guys in the side chest. Wow. Condition-wise, Kai Greene is on another little bit higher level, I think. Upper body-wise. Lower half, Ramrod looks good. Here's a side tricep. Not the best shot for Kai Greene. Now, I'll admit, sizing was a little bit of an issue. And those fellers are still doing that live video as we speak, as I'm recording this video. So I'm trying to do this fast. So if I make a mistake from time to time, chalk it up to that. But I do prefer Ramrod. And I still say I made Ramy too big. I could have made him even shorter. Think about how big the legs are of Kai Greene. See, I should have took my time on this one, but Trying to impress the bigwigs. Turn around for the back. Shoulder height and head height are different, I guess. Ramy holds his head down. Kai holds his head up. And you gotta look at shoulder height, things of that nature. And he's not as big as Ramrod. And he's not as dense in the back. The traps, anyway. The lower lats, yes. And in particular, if you're one of those judge fellers, if you're a judge, you're sitting right under them, and those lower lats are going to be right in your face from Kai Greene. So it would be actually a close one. Look at Kai's hamstring, looks like a great big smushed raisin. Nom sing, so iri, so sing. Both guys got decent calves. I'm surprised. Sound like I was calling my cat there. Surprised, because Ramrod criticized in the calf department. Maybe the overwhelming size of his quads prior to this made his calves look small. Kai, good in that aspect as well. Here's the rear double. Both arms, Louie. You'll never get this chance again. Gee, Dad, he big. Kai, he is not as big as Ramrod. You could see that in the rear lat. His back, his torso heap itself is shorter, and he's a long-legged creature. He has very long legs. Probably just as long or longer than Ramrod's. It's the torso length. But when you throw it all together in this beautiful rear double bicep of Kai Greene, you can really see what I mean by lower lat insertions. And new people to the sport, oh, don't bother me with your lower lat insertions. Well, it's just like having big pecs for the back. Ramrod doesn't have his pecs on the back. Yeah, he has big traps. That's like your cleavage, I guess. I don't know. Ramrod, he's losing the rear double bi. Was he losing the rear lat spread? Condition-wise, they're different, but similar. Similar, areas. Kai has the more diced up hamstrings, and Ramrod has the drier bum. It's a drier bum. Here's the abs and thigh. And once again, I have to mention the sizing. This time I'll try to make it funny, though. You see how Kai Greene, he brings his pelvic area, like what his posing trunks are covering, the bum in the front. He's moving it back. Like you learn that in wrestling. Like when somebody tries to take you down, you move your pelvic back as if, somebody was trying to grab at your personal area, and you'd be like, no, you don't. No, you don't. So you think about that when you wrestle, and you can never get taken down. That's why when I used to wrestle women, I would always get taken down. I'd be like, pelvic first. No, I'm saying. But anyway. Kai Greene, I could talk right through this one because I think he's just too pretty for Ramrod. Hey, Ramy has the condition plus, even his abs. He doesn't have any body fat per se. It's just the makeup of the abs. Not what it used to be. And it's just, it's a good shot for Kai Greene. Underrated. Throw in some feathering in there, like a little bit of paprika on top of a potato salos. Here's the most muscular. Sizing, absolutely an issue in this one, McMahon. But if I made Kai any bigger, his head would be too big. You guys can understand what my problem here. Kai Greene, his head wasn't that big, was it? My soul, he had a big melon. That's a big noggin. Even got bigger after this, 2013. 14, I think he had the biggest cranium of all. But having said that, guys, Ramy, he does do enough, I think, in the upper body here to defeat Kai Greene in the most muscular. Actually, he's beaten Kai in a lot of poses. So if the argument is, or you're trying to figure out where you're going to rank all these best bodybuilders, well, Kai never won the Olympia title. This is as close as he came, in my estimation. 2014, but 2014 Kai had a little bit of a casus belli. just like Phil Heath did. And he didn't have one here. So I think this is his best Olympia showing for Kai Greene, and I guess this is ramrods. You could show other versions, but we're talking Olympia. If you're not going to bring it to the Olympia stage, doesn't really matter, does it? So if you are going to rank these guys based on these two versions, I guess it's still up in the air. It is absolutely of some debate. If you want to know Mark's Max Muscle, my opinion on it, I think Kai Greene won. I think he was just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. The lats, things of that nature. But hey, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, Jim. Darn it, Jim, I'm not an escalator. He said that one time. He said that on Star Trek. I'm not an escalator. Anyway, they had to figure out new ones for every episode. There you go, guys. And hopefully Fuad Obiad and the boys get to see this. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. They probably won't. They're busy men. But the fact that they thought of me, mentioned me in the podcast, boosts my little ego. Got it up a little bit. It's like a little flame. It'll wear down and maybe grow at some point. Anyway, have a great one, guys.